You know what really grinds my gears? Automakers trying to take away our manual transmissions. But you know what? Let's talk about why. Let's see if we can figure out a reason as to why this is all happening, and maybe it'll make it all a little bit better. Or it'll just make us all really, really angry. I know you guys like numbers, so let's start with a few. In 2006, 47% of new cars that were available had the option to be purchased with a manual transmission. Sadly, in 2012, only 6.8% of the cars purchased that year had a manual transmission. As if it couldn't get any worse, in 2018, that number dropped to 3.5%. If you're in that 3.5%, I just want to thank you and personally shake your hand, but I can't do that. So if you are one of those 3.5%, be sure to hit that like button. Back when they released the WRX and made it available with an automatic transmission, I thought that was the one time that my heart would be broken, and I shortly after that developed trust issues. I'm all for everyone enjoying the WRX, but if you want to enjoy a WRX and an STI, it should be a manual. It used to be that manual transmissions were more fuel efficient, they were cheaper, and they were all around just more fun and better to drive. But now here we are in 2019, and we have 10-speed automatics, which there's no one out there that can shift faster and better than a 10-speed automatic. Not even Dominic Toretto. The thing with a manual is it always made it feel like you were more in control of the car. You could get into, let's say, 150 horsepower Dodge Neon, and if you had that with a manual transmission, it just made it so much more alive. You could actually, take the RPMs all the way up and shift at redline and do everything like that. It just made it so much more fun. Another cool thing is we could customize our shift knobs. Yes, automatic transmissions have cool shift knobs now, and BMW tries to do some cool futuristic looking things, but nothing beats these cool shifters. Now, this is not a problem that the US alone is facing. It's affecting Europe and Asian countries, as well as even down under in Australia. I thought for sure the European manufacturers would back us up, but sadly, even Volkswagen, Audi, they're all starting to move away from that, BMW even. And to break my heart yet another time, BMW decided that the 3 Series is no longer going to have a manual transmission option. From here on out, the 8-speed automatic is all you're gonna get until they do something more. But the point is, my heart is sad and very, very broken because BMW decided to kill the manual transmission in the 3 Series. Their argument is convenience over driving dynamics. I don't know, I disagree, but I can understand it from a business standpoint. And it's not just at the normal, everyday, middle class consumer level that we're losing the manual transmission. We're talking about Ferrari, Lamborghini, they're already out of that. We actually used to even have manual trucks running around. You'll see where this is all going in a moment, because the reason for the manual transmission dying is pretty clear. And it makes a lot of sense once you've heard the answer. But don't get comfortable just yet with your automatic transmissions. Their days are also numbered, because here we are with Tesla and all the other electric cars. There's something super important missing from those. It's a transmission. They don't have that. They only have 1 speed and 1 speed only. How do you even begin to argue with Tesla when they have a new car that supposedly can hit 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds? Basically, an electric car just has the electric motor, and that motor turns at a certain RPM. With electric motors, you're talking about 20,000 RPM. That's significantly more than a regular gasoline powered car, which is about 7,500 RPM, 8,000 RPM. So basically there is no competition when it comes to the RPMs on a gas motor versus the RPMs on an electric motor. When you start to cut out things like a transmission, you're significantly limiting the amount of moving parts on a car. If you start to do that, you increase efficiency and you decrease maintenance, and that pretty much decrease costs. And now here's the answer you've all been waiting for. The reason why manual transmissions are disappearing is because you can't have an autonomous driving car with a manual transmission. On top of that, electric cars only have 1 gear. My favorite name for the manual transmission these days is the Millennial Anti-Theft System. Nowadays, we've got Uber, we've got Lyft, we've got all the public transportation options, and young people just don't care about driving manual transmissions like their parents and grandparents used to. It's just what it is. Also, people aren't teaching their kids, and it's just kind of becoming a dying thing. So, there's a lot of truth behind that joke. A lot of the generation just isn't into cars like that, and so sadly it's just what it's become. We don't really have a fight for manuals like we used to. There's no more 50%. It's a significant drop, and guess what? That number is no longer going back up. It's going closer and closer to 0 every single year. Thank you guys for checking out another episode of LJ's Garage. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And if you're like me at all and sometimes get in an automatic and forget that there is no clutch and accidentally put your foot down and feel stupid, this video is for you.